commerce and trade begins to come on in terms of continuously gaining market share. There are other centers of gravity besides the Amexem-Moor-Empire. We are one center of gravity. Ankara is a center of gravity. Cusharappasi is a center of gravity. I mentioned the three of us for a reason. The current centers of gravity, as folks know it, won't be the primaries in the future. 3% of the global trade right now goes through what some call the Bosphorus, through that particular strait and past that particular port scenario, the Dardanelles and all that. So Ankara has an intricate role in the future as a result. Any trade coming out of Romania, trade for the Bulgars from Bulgaria, anything coming out of Odessa, anything coming out of that particular sea period that's looking to get into the Great Sea or work its way down to the Kemetic Canal, into the Kush Sea, into the Cush-Harappa Ocean. Ankara will be front and center to that. It's a serious center of gravity. Our primary concern is what things look like in the Cush-Harappa Ocean, since we literally have a command area on the Cush-Harappa Ocean, Mombasa in the Kenyatta district. We can literally throw a rock and hit the Kush Sea, meaning we're within range of the Kemetic Canal. And we are facing towards Greater Asia. To sail to Greater Asia, you have to sail right past Cusharappasi. So these centers of gravity are shifting. We're constantly having to watch this to see what it looks like, to see how we navigate over, around, and through particular things with our commerce and trade as a result of these shifting geodynamics. So you have an increase in population in Cusharappasi. You have a decrease under the influence of Edo, under the influence of Seoul, under the influence of Beijing. Because of the decreases in the populations, their financial power will see a difference, a decline. They have populations that are not getting any younger, a median life span in terms of actual years of 53, meaning they have more of their populations in their 50s than they have in their 20s, 30s, and 40s. 20s, 30s, and 40s are those who do all the buying. When those that are ready to retire or preparing to retire, they get into their 50s and 60s, they're not spending like that. So the centers of gravity I'm speaking about are mainly from Alkebu-lan and eastward. So I know the fair question in your minds might be starting to form. What's it got to do with Alkebu-lan, North Central, and South Amexem? Legit question. Fair question. One word. Most that are in those areas, not within the Amexem-Empire jurisdiction and venue, they're dealing with a non-substance-based quote-unquote economy. Economies, pardon me. And they require this thing called liquidity. So Most of the investments that are being done in the quote-unquote stock markets are from ill-gotten gains, illicit funds, drug trade, and all these things, the cartels, um, the works. Institutions are in there as well, technically true. Retirement funds, these pension plans, they're in there too. The around the way of quote-unquote mom and pop investors, their share of what's invested is minuscule in comparison. But all those entities require parties contributing to their bottom lines. In other words, their clients and customers have to be spending in their business models, on their services, on their products. And when they don't, the valuations, quote unquote, of their stocks come down. That makes them riskier. And parties in an uncertain time are less inclined to invest in riskier stocks, bonds, and investments overall. What does that mean? If they're not investing, where does the liquidity come from? As there's less liquidity available, there's less opportunities for business to raise funds, less IPOs, less mergers and acquisitions. That bites even on the quote-unquote Wall Street types because now their bonuses are going down. So population drives liquidity. And when populations in major quote-unquote economies, Deutschlands, Romas, most of quote-unquote Europe, definitely those under the influence of Moscow before their invasion of Kiev, the invasion of Ukraine. The Ukrainians also are going through it before they were invaded by the Russians. Declining populations impacting population density as to those who are in their 20s, 30s, and 40s as opposed to those who are in their 50s and more. Those that fail to plan to deal with that plan to fail. In your service, the Imperial Council and I, we're not failing in that. The Amexem-Moor-Empire center of gravity is expanding. We're in more places than we were 10 Earth years ago. We are not the Amexem-Moor-Empire of 2 Earth years ago. We're barely the Amexem-Moor-Empire of 5 to 6 Earth months back. Our abilities have changed. Our population has increased. The knowledge base of our population, all of you are getting smarter. You're getting further in your training. We're having more and more relationships. We're having more and more mastery over a wide variety of endeavor. And as a consequence, we're constantly upgrading our process protocols and procedures as well as our training. And the various trainings that we have are bearing forth fruit. And over time, our business models for our trading businesses and our service business, they get better. That helps them with customer service. That helps them also to gain further on the market share scenario. It's all connected because it's all relative.